name's Stacey Maney. Welcome back. I'm here with Shelley Clammer. Shelley, thank you for joining.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Stacey.
And so your session, it just feels like a really beautiful resting place for me right now. I am so looking forward to what you're sharing today and the process that you're going to kind of take us through. It just feels like a really warm hug. So I thank you in advance.
Oh,
And before we dive in, did you want to speak to like maybe what you're creating in the world right now or anything that you want to kind of share as an introduction for yourself?
oh, sure. Well, um, I am a psychotherapist and an expressive arts educator, and I always have a creative practice on the side. So one thing that's a constant for me is I always do these little intuitive drawings. Those are just sort of energy check-ins, and we're going to do something similar to that today. We're going to do a heart check-in. So that's always for the past, gosh, 25 years. I've always done these little intuitive drawings every day. I always have these sketchbooks on the go. And then I also have sort of another art exploratory process on the go too. So right now I'm exploring abstract collage.
Mm,
And so I've got an art table in front of me with all kinds of pieces and just playing with shape and color. And I'm doing that just because it's fun and light and playful. And my work as a psychotherapist, a lot of the work I do is going into the shadow of people's psyches. So I love that space. It's a very loving space for me to be in, but it's
mm.
also heavy and some of it stays with me. So I also need sort of a playful practice. But today we're going to focus more on my constant everyday practice, which is basically drawing energy. And emotions are energy, and we're going to be focusing, since this is all about awakening the heart and awakening to love, we're going to be focusing on the energy of the heart today.
Mm.
So yeah.
Beautiful. You know,
Mhm.
my first question is like, okay, so where's the shadow area when it comes to the heart? That's right.
Oh yeah, well, we have shadow in all different kinds of places in our body. Today, we're going to focus on the heart, most specifically heart walls. It was a term that was coined by Dr. Bradley Nelson. He's a chiropractic energy doctor, and him and
Mm,
his wife started to see that walls in the heart have an actual construction. So the subconscious mind, it creates blocks whenever we're hurt. And that can
mm,
happen anywhere. We can carry a block in our stomach or our lower back or our throat, in any one of our energy chakras as well. But the heart has walls, and we all know this anyway. Like we all say, oh, she seems to have a wall around her heart or what
mhm.
have you. And I've been drawing heart walls for, well, pretty much ever since I started intuitive drawing. I started to notice that half my heart I was drawing stones in it and things like that. And so your heart wall can be made of anything, and the subconscious will often make it with sort of the materials in a way symbolically that were around at the time when you experienced heartbreak. So it can be made out of hardwood flooring or plastic or mesh or anything. So it's
Interesting.
kind of curious. Yeah. So when we do the drawing today, we're going to start with a meditation so that we can get out of the left brain and into the right brain, which is the body emotional brain, which is more connected to the heart than the left logical survival practical brain. And we're going to just talk to our heart, have a little conversation, and we'll do an energy drawing. If a heart wall comes up, then that's great. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. So it's just an exploratory exercise today, just to
Mm,
see if there's something in there. And I think for you and for me and for other people who are really exploring their heart, a lot, and I really resonate with your heart-centered approach to your work. Uh, it, you know, we can hold a lot of hurt in our heart too. So that's where a lot of hurt gets stored. So
mm,
if we've had heartbreak, if we've had loss, if we've had pain, sometimes it gets stored in the heart. And the wall is simply the protective mechanism that kind of keeps hurt from getting in. And unfortunately, it sort of traps the hurt in there as well. So there's a kind of kind of a muffledness or a numbness or a block that sometimes we can feel in our heart. So we'll be sensing into that today.
Yeah, what's interesting is doing this event, for me, it was, oh, I need to clear my throat because it's very obvious that I need to clear that. And then what was surprising though is it actually, there's so much that's connected to my heart with my
Yes.
expression. So it's like this boom, like it's like, no, actually, let's start in your heart. It is about the throat, but it's this connection.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
that's really interesting. I love
Yeah. And years ago, I agree. I have sort of this channel between my heart and my throat. And a dear colleague of mine, she spoke of another, she called it another chakra energy center, which is called the high heart. I don't know if you're familiar with that place, but it's sort of that place in you that wants to speak from your highest self. And so in a way, it's almost like another energy center that's between sort of the heart and the throat. And so sometimes that can get blocked up too. And so there's
Wow.
this incredible urge to want to speak from our higher self, from the high heart, which is really interesting too. And I always think of the heart chakra as more like the human heart. It's kind of like it does store pain as well.
Mhm.
As all the other chakras do too. They have blockages, but yeah, it really holds our human experiences, and so
Mm.
those need to be processed.
Hmm. Oh my goodness. Yes, please. Can we process some of them?
Let's do it. So I just prepared a little relaxation exercise. So if you don't mind, I'll just lead everybody into kind of a softer place. So right now, you and I, even though we took time to sort of join in a meditative space, as soon as we start to sort of talk from our practical mind and try to communicate information, we switch to our left brain somewhat.
Mhm.
So, in order to do expressive art, intuitive art, art that's spontaneous, uh, we really want to quiet our practical brain. And of course, that always comes from relaxation. So, to begin with, if everybody could just get comfortable as we can be on our computer chairs, and just make sure you're as comfortable as you possibly can. And sometimes I like to kind of just move my shoulders around and move my hips and just want to start to release some of the tension that we might be feeling. And so let's just begin focusing on the deeper breaths, always making sure that the out breath is longer than the in breath. Observing how your chest rises and falls. And with that longer out breath, we immediately switch to our creative mind, to our emotional brain, which is the right brain body, as I like to call it. And now take a deep breath and hold it for a few seconds longer, and then slowly exhale again. Oh. And then repeat this process, breathing in and exhaling slowly and as long as you can. Oh. One more time, exhaling. And see if you can feel your mind becoming quiet, going more into your emotional right brain. And then just bring your attention to your feet, grounding your feet into the earth, and just noticing the sensations of your toes and the balls of your feet. letting go of any tension you might have as you exhale down, down into the earth. Just feeling your tension dissolve into the earth as you relax. And then next moving up to your calves and your thighs. Moving them around if they feel tense, just letting go of any tension in your legs. Allowing yourself to relax even more. And just feeling your legs sinking into whatever you're sitting on. Next, moving up to focus on your lower back. Just releasing through the breath any tension you might be holding there. Just moving it around until you feel a little bit looser there. A lot of us hold tension in our lower back. And now shifting your attention to your stomach muscles. And taking a slow, deep breath. And as you exhale, just let go of any tension in your stomach and feel it dissolve. Now just focus on your hands, letting them go limp and heavy for the moment. Letting your wrists become warm and relaxed. And allowing any tension to melt away from your hands. Your drawing hands. And your arms and your elbows can relax along with your hands. Just letting all that feels tense in your arm area to relax. Moving up now to another area of tension that most people carry. Just focus on your shoulders, top of your neck, releasing any tension you might be holding there. And just telling your neck muscles that they can relax. Just allowing your head to feel heavy and comfortable for now. Your forehead, eyebrows, cheeks and lips and mouth should all feel warm and relaxed. And finally, just take another deep breath and allow a wave of relaxation to wash over your entire body. And just experience a sense of peace in this present moment. And so now, as you continue to breathe and enjoy a feeling of complete relaxation, you might want to place a gentle hand upon your heart, just sensing energetically how your heart is feeling right now. And as you hold your heart for this few moments before we start to draw, you might ask yourself this question: do I have a heart wall? So this is a very intuitive question. It's like, do I have any blockages in my heart? And so feeling around, you might sense, maybe my heart isn't completely open right now. Maybe it feels numb, tired, tense, or maybe it's hurting. And if you don't get a kind of a strong yes or no answer, that's okay. We're going to be drawing the energy that we're feeling right now in a minute. But it's important to know too that sometimes a heart wall can be hidden. So you might also have to ask, is there a hidden heart wall? And I've experienced this. Uh, just sometimes shadow parts of self blockages in our energy system, they don't want to reveal themselves right away, and that's okay. So before we start drawing, just consider that the construction of a heart wall can protect you from bad feelings coming in, but it also keeps out the good feelings. So your love and your desire and your happiness can get trapped behind your heart wall. And you might have many heart walls. I know I have. So when you have too many heart walls, it's very hard to send love out to others. And so you can see that a heart wall doesn't just hurt you, it can also hurt those around you who need your love. So we're going to explore now. If you want to open your eyes and gather your art materials, I'm just going to switch to my art table. And I just have a bunch of markers here. Stacy and I are going to just relax and chat and draw together. And I've got a whole bunch of Fresh Kids markers. uh, so the exercise just begins with drawing the shape of a heart as the symbol that we're going to express within. So sometimes with an expressive drawing, you'll just draw all over, but this is like almost like drawing inside of a circle, like a mandala. This is just a heart shape. And so it can be irregular, doesn't have to be a perfect heart. And then it's just a matter of just making any kind of expressive marks that feel right. Now, if in the meditation you saw a heart wall, maybe it was made out of wire or stone. Like I said, I was drawing stones in my heart drawings for many years. You can draw that if you want to, but just pay attention to how your right brain wants to express the energy in your heart. So for this drawing, you want to be focusing on your heart as you draw. And your heart may want to express happiness today. So whatever your heart wants to express, sometimes heart walls aren't ready to reveal themselves. This is because there's too much pain hidden in there and our psyche isn't ready. So just continue to intuitively draw. And like I say, you don't have to necessarily be literally drawing a wall, but we'll just let the energy of the heart as we touch into it express what it needs to express. Now, of course, if you're doing this on your own as a regular exercise, you want to make sure that you relax and get into your right creative brain before doing any kind of intuitive or expressive art. And also, you can take a lot of time really, really detailing what you need to detail. And as you choose colors, if you have lots of colors, you can consider just flowing from one color to the next, one mark to the next. And at this point, we're not doing any kind of read on it at all. We're just letting the gestures, the drawing just unfold. So if you can stay in a sense of mystery and try not to label anything that you're doing at the moment. And like I said, I like to just intuitively choose kind of color after color, line after line, I've been doing this for a long time, so I always get a sense of just that very next step. And that's the way the intuition works.
Mm.
You always get a sense, okay, now I need to do this. Now I need to do that. And that's just how intuitive art making works. Is you just, there's always the next color. There's always the next action to take.
Mm. I love that. That's so true.
It is. It's good metaphor for life because if you live your life like that, then your life just unfolds beautifully. It really does unfold from the heart.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Why I have trouble with my to-do list.
Yes. We all have our to-do lists and we all have our left brain need to get things done. And sometimes it's good to hand it over to the right brain. And
Hmm.
I like to do intuitive house cleaning where I kind of putter and putz
Yeah.
around and I don't finish any task all at once. I'm not linear about it. And before I know it, 3 hours is gone and the house is clean, but I've done it in this very organic way.
Yes. Yeah, then it's like a full body cleaning too,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, exactly. I might be like in the middle of doing a dish and then, oh, I feel like going over here and sweeping the floor. I think I'll go
Mhm.
outside and wash my car.
Right.
So you might get some recognizable symbolism as you're drawing. I'm starting to see some, which is surprising me. Or you might just be drawing energy. So in expressive art, the way I teach it, um, I see emotions as energy, and so I work a lot with emotions. And so when you draw your emotions, they have a shape, they have lines, they have colors, and so it's just really good to pay attention to how your emotions want to express. So it's very gestural. It's really, we're not looking for anything that's like what you would call sort of fine art here at all. Just very much getting an energy read on your heart. And I start to get ideas as I start to have sort of what I call free associations where my brain starts to say, oh, look, I'm drawing in sections, or oh, look, this area feels stronger, or there's these sort of intuitive thoughts you can start to have as you work in this way. And so, of course, this is always such a great exercise to do if your heart is feeling sort of heavy or muffled, or because what you're doing is you're letting the energy release out of your heart. So you can even be very, very intentional about that. And you can say to your heart, all right, heart, whatever you're feeling, please send your energy down my arm through my hand
Mm.
and onto the paper.
Mhm.
And I know you have little kids too, Stacey. So, this is a kind of a fun exercise to do with kids as well.
Yes. My daughter's very much into hearts these days.
Oh, is she? She's moved on from snowflakes.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like a combination at this point. Well, I know I'm always in awe with my kids how naturally that it's like, yeah, duh, mom, that's how we're drawing here. Why are you
Yeah.
thinking so much?
Yeah, exactly. It's so natural. Oh,
And I love this visual of like giving my heart the pencil or the, marker. Just imagine my
yes.
heart is holding it.
Yes, exactly. Just giving your heart a chance to express itself through lines and colors and so on. And so when you feel pretty complete, I'm kind of getting like I said, you can detail these heart drawings so much on your own time. But are you feeling ready to move on to the collage aspect, or do you need a bit more time?
Yeah, no, yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
Feel like I'm going to start over analyzing if I,
Yeah,
trying
okay.
to perfect it.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a magazine and we're just going to pick a few clarifying words, and that this isn't a left-brained exercise either. So um, just going in and choosing words or even little pictures, not something to cover up the whole drawing that you've done, but if you see a little sort of a symbol or something like that that feels like you want to add that into your heart, this is just to further clarify, what what's going on inside. So this is starting to bridge the right brain to the left brain. We're starting to bring in language. And so I just like to go in, and this is when I do individual sessions with women, it's really helpful sometimes to further clarify what we've done, because in a way, expressive drawing is it can be pretty inscrutable, pretty hard to understand sometimes.
Mhm.
So this is just to help understand a little bit more. So just cut out maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 phrases that stand out, or words, just a word. I'm cutting out just one word here. And this is just going to help your left brain feel like it's involved in the process, because we want to join the right brain with the left brain. We want to bring everything that's down below, that's subconscious and unconscious, up to the conscious mind. This is how we heal. So it's going to be very important for the left brain just to have a few words. Are you having an okay time finding
Yeah,
words?
I'm loving just bringing the left brain back into it. Normally it's like, don't come in till I'm finished. But I love
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I want to support people to have really sustained expressive practices, expressive art and writing practices. And I've found over the years that if the left brain can't come in and sort of have some time with these pieces, then it's really easy. The left brain actually controls a lot of our behaviors, and it will say, well, that's not making sense to me anyway, so I don't really want to do that anymore. But
yeah.
once your left brain sort of gets some insight and it's like, oh, wow, yeah, then there's a sort of like a hunger, to keep going with the
Mm.
practice. So are you finding any images or anything, or
I'm finding words. I really want an image. I haven't found one yet.
yeah, just see if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Again, it's just this back and forth, because imagery comes from the right brain, and words come
Mhm.
at least. I mean, it's not fair to say that words come from the left brain, but the left brain likes words. So we are, if we write poetry, for example, that's words that are coming from the subconscious, that are coming from the right brain typically.
Wow, I have to share. This is so
Yes,
crazy. I just found my aunt's house in a
get out
magazine.
of here. Really?
I'm like, wait, I've been in this room before.
Wow, did you know she was in a magazine?
Oh, this is insane.
Oh, that is so strange.
I'm paying attention to that. I'm like,
That's interesting.
she's
Wow.
an incredible interior designer. Yeah,
Oh,
there's her
look
room
at
and her house.
that. Oh, that's amazing.
I am just in awe. I'm like, I need to call her apparently.
I think you do. That's a sign. Your heart's talking to you. You picked a magazine that.
Well, and she's an artist and she's my husband's aunt, but I feel like she's been my aunt all along, and
Oh,
she's been so
beautiful.
supportive. So of course she's coming in when matters.
Oh, there you go. So she's an ally. She's an ally
Yes.
to you. Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh, it's very
Wow.
emotional.
That's so neat. That's so neat. Oh, beautiful. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I'm getting excited too. I just found something that's connecting my left brain with my right brain.
Mm. Yeah, that's a whole new piece for me, this part. Yeah. This is
Yes.
powerful.
Yes, it is. Like this is what I call sort of a clarifier, because some clarifying images and words.
Hmm.
And it's just so fun to get that little jolt of aha with these pieces. Because sometimes with intuitive art, I know when I first started, um, I would always write down my associations and things, but it's just really nice to have a little sort of a handle on what it means. Have a little bit of a word that's always very helpful.
Hmm.
So how are you doing? Do you want to pick one more word or you need a couple more? What do you feel?
I'm good on the words, maybe just one more image, but I feel like I'm going to find it pretty quickly here.
Yeah, no worries. And then we'll glue them down and then we'll just sort of share. So when information, comes up from the subconscious, which is a heart wall is in the subconscious mind, it's not completely conscious. And also the energies inside of us. Um, the subconscious mind, I don't know if you know this, but it takes up 95% of our brain and emotional space. So our conscious mind is only 5% of what we actually, we're working with a very small part of our brain. So there's this endless, beautiful fountain of information that's down below the surface. So
Interesting.
yeah, so it's wonderful. We want to be surprised by this process. We want to be intrigued. We want it to feel mysterious and interesting enough that we want to come back and do it again. That's kind of the goal. So
Mhm.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, would you say that that unknown space is the shadows or?
Yeah, basically, our subconscious is housing all of our human experiences. And so, in order to survive, we have to shut a lot of that out. We have to pay the bills, raise the kids, do all the things.
Mhm.
And, but all of basically what's in the subconscious is everything that hasn't been processed. And
Mhm.
so, what we want to do is just process it on a daily level so we don't feel so heavy, you know?
Mm.
And so I think of it sort of as a kind of a cleanse in a sense of the subconscious to do this kind of work.
Mhm.
And so this is kind of a cleansing process in that we've kind of taken the energy of our heart today and put it outside of our body to take a look at, to become more conscious about, to become more aware. And so in a way, we've kind of lightened the load of all of our accumulated experiences a little bit, a
Yeah.
little bit today.
I just feel the necessity of this probably is at an all-time high for all the things that we're processing and consuming all the time. Just feels like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I used to lead art groups in healthcare. I was lucky to have a full-time job doing it, and I did it for 10 years. And so I was helping other people create art all day,
Mm.
creating art directives and leading classes and groups. And but I found that if I didn't do my own art every day, I I would start to feel kind of accumulated, like as if I wasn't, I guess because I'm empathic and so are you, I think,
Mhm.
you start to absorb all these other energies and you need to get them out. And if you don't fully process all the energies that you feel and come into contact with, um, this is just one way of cleansing. I mean, there's other ways of energy cleansing, but this is one of my favorite ways to
Mhm.
energy cleanse.
Yeah, I feel like this deep release. It's so simple and easy once I get started too, you know?
It is. And it's just about, convincing the left brain that just wants to get all the practical things done to just kind of sit down and and have some time, right? So that's why I like to kind of say, hey, left brain, you can have some fun too. You get
Right.
to
Yeah,
see.
we'll give you a turn. Just give us, yeah.
Yeah, you can have some words and
So how often would you do this practice then? Like every day, or do you come back to it? What would
um
you recommend?
well, I'm gonna switch to my other camera again. We
Mhm.
can chat. Um what I recommend now is that so I've created a piece today. You've created a piece today.
Mhm.
And um, when it comes up from the subconscious, it has sort of an activation to it. It feels kind of alive. And so I recommend living into the piece where you
Mm.
might put it somewhere where you can see it. And anything that comes up from the subconscious, you kind of want to render it to feel neutral. And so this is feeling kind of activated and exciting for me. There's new information on my piece. And so as soon as it sort of feels neutral and settled, and I look at it and I go, oh yeah, that feels integrated. I have absorbed the meaning of that. I know what I know what that is for me. Then then I would say do the next piece. So you would just wait until this piece is fully integrated, and
Mhm.
then you would do the next piece. So I used to, when I first started teaching creativity, was just like do something every day.
Mhm.
But I think that something should be quite simple, just like my little intuitive drawings, that kind of thing.
Okay.
This that has this holds more information, and it might need a couple of days or a week to
Right.
to integrate.
Okay.
Yeah. So are you ready to share? Shall we do show and tell?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just if you wanted to share and sort of tell me what you see, and then I'll tell you what I see in mine, and that would be wonderful. So
Okay.
okay.
I'm laughing at how imperfect this is, but here we are.
Oh, it's lovely. Oh, wow. So you did a
Um,
whole spread then with that's
yeah.
with words. Oh, okay. So talk about it. What is it? What do you see?
Well, yeah, it was very this is I know this is a wall here. This is
Yeah.
totally towards my kids, like accepting their love because of the just the fear of loss. Like there's so much there, and I'm like, we're gonna deal with that. We are dealing with that.
Yes, got it.
Um,
Yes.
and yeah, so that was a wall, and then I felt like I wasn't sure if this was a wall or a flow of energy, but then
Yeah.
this kind of bloomed on top, so that felt like an opening or almost like a
Yes.
connection that was
Yes.
being made. Um,
Beautiful.
and then in the middle it says, "We are the gardeners." It's Joanna Gaines' book, but I always see like my creative work as a garden.
Oh, beautiful. So you've got a garden in your heart.
Yes. And then it was like this very huge reminder, literally,
Oh,
that I
yes.
need that I get to rest in that.
Yeah.
I fight. It was almost like a fight of not being in my heart or allowing myself to go there. And it's like, oh my
Yes.
God, I can go there and I can rest.
Yes. In fact, resting is synonymous with being in your heart. You can't be in your heart unless you're relaxed, right?
Oh,
So, yeah, you have to be resting.
I didn't even put that. Yes. And yeah, and then beauty and muscle, which is
Oh,
fun.
oh, that's great. That's great. Well, gee, actually, if I may say so, just intuitively, just knowing you through our meetings and such, beauty and muscle to me describes your heart, that it has beauty and muscle. Like there's like this intention or this muscle of intention that I see in your work in
Mhm.
the world. And so there's this like deep muscle in it. So you also have a very beautiful heart, like, oh, gorgeous heart. So that to me describes your heart, which is very beautiful that your heart chose to describe itself that way.
Mhm. Yeah. And I never would have picked those words, but I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
that works.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
then also no rules, just delight. I'm
Just
like,
delight. Oh,
oh
isn't that
my
another portal into the heart?
God.
Yes. Discover the possibilities. No rules, just delight. Wow. A lot of great messages there, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I let go of
Beautiful.
the way it looked. And it's like it's interesting, like the sizes of things and where they ended up. Even though it was very
Yes.
quick.
Yes, and the sizes of your messages were just like very like equal to the size of the drawing, and lovely that you had a like a whole page spread to really explore your heart like that.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. Okay, shall I share what I see in mine? Does
Yes,
that feel good?
absolutely.
Okay, so all right. So it was really interesting because as I was drawing, I started to see this ear here. So then I found these words that said listen and learn. So I think that
Mhm.
has something to do with listening to the instrument of my heart more.
Mm.
I've been doing a lot of heart wall work. I've been doing a lot of energy work around my heart. So I thought this was interesting. Knows no bounds. Like it
Mhm.
feels like my heart is starting to expand And this word here, this phrase, border crossing, I've always drawn my heart is divided, and you can see there's like a definite
Interesting.
delineation. And this has been like 20 years of sort of like having sort of like half a heart. And I have experienced a ton of grief and a ton of loss.
Mhm.
And so um, it's curious to me that there's a crossing of the borders, that the borders are coming together now. And
Mhm.
then I had this sort of new word, and this sort of whatever this little bud or fruit or whatever that is. And I just love this shape, and I love that it just kind of goes off, so it sort of feels expansive to me.
Yes.
And that's how I'm reading it today. But of course, what I'll do is I often just put my expressive art to the side of my computer because this is where I do my work, and then I just sort of let it absorb. And
Mhm.
I've got pieces around me all around the room right now.
Right.
And as soon as it feels like okay, I fully have integrated that. I know what that is. And you can tell because there's just, like I said, a neutral feeling. It's like, oh, that little piece is done, and I have a box where I stack up all my art pieces, and when they feel finished, and usually what I'll do is I'll yeah just date them on the back, write my insights down, really important to remember. And that's the heart
Mhm.
check-in.
You know what I love? I love you bringing it to neutral and letting that be the completion because I feel like you just put words to like part of my process that I didn't realize I was doing. And it's almost like once we're neutral with it is when the energy can shift then,
Yes,
you know.
yes, yes. And when the energy is activated, it could be positive or negative, but it's something that we need to realize about our dark or our light. And so my heart piece came out quite light today in a sense. But we have to accept our higher self and our light just as much as we do our shadow. It's called the golden shadow in Jungian
Mhm.
therapy. So sometimes, just holding how brilliant we are can come through too, and that can be a shadow as well. So,
Mm,
hmm.
that thank you so much. That was wonderful. As wonderful as I hoped it would be. I'm like, I need this today.
ExpressiveArtWorkshops.com.